you have to know why you're doing what you're doing. It's like homeschooling. If you don't have a vision, you won't finish. I think the first thing that is required if you want to start a homeschool cooperative, you got to have a heart for people. This is a ministry, and sometimes it's ugly, Zan. It's
yes,
people,
that's right. That's right.
We're working with people, but I think once you have a vision for it, and you know that this is what the Lord asks you to do, we always start with just prayer. I think we sometimes forget that the same God who spoke the world into being and raised Lazarus from the dead is alive today, and He is still doing miracles. And we got to care enough about what's happening. I mean, I ran for Congress in 2022. I'm not afraid of a challenge. But I also think we have to be willing, when you look at starting a homeschool resource center, you got to understand, or even a homeschool cooperative or a homeschool ministry, enemy's going to come against you.
That's right.
And you have to be ready for that. And you have to be willing to count the cost. Find other people around you who are willing to count the cost. I think our kids are worth it.
Absolutely.
I think they are. And so we've been committed here for a long, long time to teaching people how to do that. We've been doing it for 20 years. First Class Homeschool Ministries, which is how we started, has become Firmly Planted Family. This is the Firmly Planted Homeschool Resource Center. It's based out of Psalm 1:3, that the Bible teaches that the person who trusts in the Lord is like a tree that's firmly planted by streams of water, who yields his fruit in season and whose leaf does not wither, and whatever he does prospers. That is the promise of the Lord of Heaven's armies toward his people who call on His name and want to follow Him. That's what the homeschool movement has done, I think, as a general rule. That's what God has blessed in the past, and I think it's what He wants to bless in the future. It takes men and women of fortitude and courage. I mean, you're a perfect example of that. It took perseverance for you to pave the way for homeschool freedom in South Carolina, and it takes perseverance to start a homeschool resource center or to start a homeschool cooperative.
To start any new
to
initiative.
Start any
That's right.
new endeavor. It takes that. So you got to know, yes, the Lord's called me to do it. And then you got to be, I told you, the next book I write, I think I'm going to call it, Well, That Didn't Work. For all the things that we've tried that didn't work. And I think you have to be willing to innovate.
Yeah.
And I think that's true in every business. For entrepreneurs, you're going to start something and you're going to, it needs to be tweaked a little bit. You got to be willing to tweak it. You got to be willing to change on the fly. You got to be willing to follow the Holy Spirit and to move when He says move. And then you leave the results up to the Lord. And God's doing amazing things. And I don't think He's going to stop here.
Oh, my goodness.